Hi, today we're going to look at how you could use the counting stick for fractions in the classroom. Now there are many different ways that you could use it. You could use it for recognising and identifying fractions, counting in fractions, and like we're going to do today, placing fractions on a number line. So our counting stick is serving as our number line today. As you can see, I've got 0 at one end and 2 at the other. So this is a more advanced way that you might want to use it. We're looking at mixed fractions, obviously. So I would start by asking the children to identify and see if they can recognise the fractions that are already on the number stick. So you have 0 and 2, and I might say, okay children, can you please find a half on the number stick? Can you please point to 2? Can you identify 1 and a quarter? So the children are looking at the number stick and starting to understand how we are using it today. The first thing I would do is try to find 1 on the number line. It's probably the most straightforward of all the fractions that the children could find. So we would say, as you can see children, I have 0 on one end and 2 on the other. If we know that, where is 1 on the number line? Can you identify it? Talk to your partner. Where would you put it? And how do you know that that is where it belongs? After the children have had some time for discussion, I would then select a child randomly to answer the question, and then I would ask another child to agree or disagree with the answer and explain why, and do that a few times until we're building a sense of how the children are understanding the concept of placing fractions on a number line. Once the children have gotten to grips with that, and if they're okay with that and you're confident that they can explain it in a way that you're happy with and that they're understanding what you're asking them to do, I would move on to the other fractions that the children could find on the number line, including a quarter, 1 and a half, and potentially 1 and 3/4, depending on the ability of the children. To extend this activity or make it a little bit different, you could also give the children a post-it note and ask them, okay, so if you know where 1 is, I would like you to write a quarter on your post-it note and place it where you think it goes on the counting stick. You could obviously use a range of fractions depending on the abilities of your class and how familiar they are with using the counting stick and how confident they are as well. Another really useful way to assess the children's learning using the counting stick is by having them all with whiteboards, and instead of doing a class discussion, or building on the class discussion, you could ask the children what fraction would be here on the number line, ask them to write it on the whiteboard and hold it up. You'll get a really quick sense of the children's understanding of fractions, whether they can write fractions, and it will help you to assess where they are, what they need to do to move on, and whether they are understanding the concept of using a number line and placing fractions on it. This could then be extended into an activity to teach them how to use it or to see how they individually access the counting stick. You could draw a counting stick with a whiteboard marker on their table and give them different numbers at the end and ask them to find specific fractions. That could easily be differentiated just by speaking to the child or writing your expectations on the whiteboard. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you got some great ideas of how you would use the counting stick for fractions in your classroom. If you have other ways that you use the counting stick in the classroom or other ways that you use it for fractions, I'd love to hear about it. Please put them in the comments below. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Cheers.